Greetings, everyone. Thanks for attending this webinar about delivering great service anytime, any place. I'm going to recover the webinar mechanics real quickly. Ideally, if you could, maximize your screen. As Richard, our presenter, mentioned just a moment ago, everybody is going to be muted. That way, Richard can proceed through the presentation without disruption. However, if you do have a question or an issue or a comment, there is a chat box that you can use, and you can also raise your hand. We will use the chat box for the Q&A session at the close of the presentation. There's also a UI for polls you'll see above the chat box. So Richard will ask you a couple polling questions. By all means, please use that as well. The agenda is going to be very simple. I'm going to introduce Richard in the topic in just a moment. He'll give the presentation, and then we'll call for questions and answers. If you miss anything during the course of the presentation, it is being recorded and will be made available shortly after the presentation, as early as later today. And you can review it yourself, as well as we encourage you to share it with friends and colleagues. Richard Graves is our presentation today. You can read Richard's bio, as well as learn more about him from his LinkedIn profile. Key takeaway for Richard is that he's a very knowledgeable industry veteran for service management and IT service management. His contributions to the cloud service management product are very lengthy, and he's been deeply involved in its overall evolution. A recent part of that evolution is bringing forward a new level of efficiency and responsiveness to all stakeholders requesting services and needing support that rely on flawless and continuous IT operations in the business systems that IT supports. What Richard and the team have done at ServiceAide is put in extensive due diligence, not just to convert the web-based UI to smaller mobile devices, but instead have engaged with stakeholders and customers and advisors, many such as yourselves, to capture not just how they work to achieve service and IT service management excellence, but how they would like to going forward. And similarly, what those people expect from a service management system and tool. With that said, let's now turn the presentation over to Richard.
Thank you, Ron, and thank you for the very nice introduction. It's always good to puff up my chest a little bit, so thank you. So we do have a mixed audience today in the sense that we have, I see from the attendees, a fair amount of our existing customers are attending, as well as prospects and other potential customers. So I'm going to cover very, very briefly up front just, two slides on who ServiceAide is and what's the product that we offer in cloud service management. So if you are attending and don't know much about ServiceAide, I can certainly brief you on that very briefly. So we are a SaaS service management vendor. We're headquartered in San Jose in California, and we're a growing company with offices in India and Brazil and China, and growing very rapidly as we speak. Cloud service management is again, a SaaS-based, a cloud-based tool for service management that was built many years ago by a managed service provider who found that their customers, who happen to also be managed service providers, really lacked a tool that met their IT service management needs. Some of those unique needs as a managed service provider, such as managing multiple organizations with slightly different processes inside one tool. ServiceAide came into this side of the business in October of last year when ServiceAide acquired Cloud Service Management, the product from CA Technologies, who'd been in this space for many, many years. And Cloud Service Management was recognized as a key player in the Gartner Magic Quadrant and listed there for several years as well. What's unique and important about ServiceAide's focus is we do have Cloud Service Management. We are focused on IT service management. We also own a machine learning platform, and really the vision is merging those two pieces of technology together. Being able to leverage machine learning to solve and enhance service management, make resolution of tickets faster and better, and provide a better experience ultimately to customers to allow service management teams to focus on the business and driving revenue for the business instead of, dealing with typical customer issues. So that being said, a brief overview of cloud service management. So it is a complete service management solution. Service desk, catalog functionality, configuration management. We have a native discovery tool for assets. We also have a very simple and very easy to use project management tool that allows you to bring in work from service management tickets and configuration items and assets and manage them directly inside the tool. And then also multi-channel support, email, phone, web, etc. We are certified, if you're familiar with ITIL, sort of the industry standard for managing service management. We're certified in 9 processes by the independent firm Pink Elephant and their Pink Verify process. Okay. So if you do have to jump out early from the webcast today, I do encourage you to take a look at our website, ServiceAide.com. We do have a trial which allows you to test drive the application. Within filling out the form in a few seconds, your screen will refresh. You'll have your own instance with your name, with your organization's name in there, with a bunch of data in the system, so you get a feel of what your service management tool could look like, what the processes would be, and get a good sense of how the tool works. So I certainly encourage you, if you're interested, to do that after the call or during the call. But I'll focus really the rest of the presentation on how we're trying to shift the focus, how we're really trying to allow organizations to deliver great service. Again, the tagline, anytime, anywhere. We really feel like that service management, the way the industry is growing, the way our customers' needs are changing, is that everyone is mobile. Every organization has remote or a spread out workforce, and they need the ability to manage tickets, to manage incidents, to manage requests, in many different ways. Whether that's sitting on a train during their commute to work, whether it's sitting at work, sitting at home eating breakfast before you go to work. There's lots of different ways to interact. And we wanted to really improve that with a brand new mobile app focused on analyst use cases and really focus on trying to create a better service experience for their customers, for the IT departments, the managed service providers, for their customers. Okay. So to segue towards that, there's a million of these great Dilbert cartoons and many on IT support and service management in general. But I think what I think about most is my experience in support in general and customer service engagements in general. Recently, I was calling, happened to be Disney, related to a trip and some reservations we had, and the people on the phone were just amazing at helping me out, understanding my problem, escalating when necessary, and ultimately solving my problem. And it was probably a 20 to 30-minute conversation. It was a complex issue we were having with a reservation. But after it was done and they solved my problem, I went to my wife and said, that was just such a great experience. They solved my problem. They understood. They were empathetic. It was just what you want out of customer service. And I said, oh, Disney is so great. And my wife turned to me and said, why is that unique? Why is it so rare that you get a great customer service experience? And that's something as someone who I find customer service and support as my livelihood is what I do is service management. So that really is a hard question. And why isn't everyone great at customer service? What are things that are hurting the delivery of great customer service? And of course, we can't all be Disney. Disney staffs for it, and there's a premium to that customer service. But what can we do to provide that level of great service to our end users, I think, is the key question here. So I think when we talk about it from the IT perspective, and we put our ITSM hats back on, there's 5 big areas where I think are just massively frustrating as someone working in IT service management. Customer demands are increasing, and I think a big part of that is the pace at which consumer technology works. With new phones coming out, with new operating systems, Apple, Google, Samsung, just the pace of change is so fast that the demands from our customers have greatly increased. The complexity of the environment, I think, is also part of it. There's people are bringing in technology. The technology that we own and work with is changing or getting older. We also have this distributed workforce. I think that makes things even more difficult when you have multiple offices, or I talk to organizations, especially managed service providers, that have field technicians that are going into different places with different technology on a daily basis. Again, the increasing pace of change is just unbelievable, and it's probably going to get even faster. And lastly, on-site field technicians. I think that on-site field technicians have some unique challenges because they are always going to different environments, whether that's if your customers are retail organizations and they're going to different store locations and helping fix issues there, or they're going to different offices or data centers or even campuses where things can be different inside each building or office they go into. So I think an important component of service, and this is not addressing everything to deliver great customer service, but I think what we tried to really attack with this new mobile app was mean time to resolution. We felt like this is a challenge that's well understood. Mean time to resolution is how fast, essentially, you can resolve that ticket for the end user. How fast can you get them back up and running? So ultimately, that's business productivity. The faster you can get that customer, that organization back up and running, that's business productivity, and ultimately you're delivering better service. So there's a lot to mean time to resolution, and there's a couple components that I don't think people think about all the time. There's the time the incident occurred, so really that start time of that incident, the clock begins ticking on mean time to resolution. Then there's the time to report, and I think this is often a step that people forget. If my laptop crashes, am I picking up the phone immediately, or am I waiting an hour, 6 hours, waiting till my lunch break? I'm still experiencing that issue. That issue is a problem for me, although it's not necessarily the service desk isn't tracking from the point I experienced it always from the time I reported it. But also, when I talk to many large organizations that have large IT departments, and I talk to their employees and their end users, those self-service users, oftentimes they're going to wait weeks because that experience of calling up IT is so bad or dealing with IT is so bad that they're going to deal with, oh, I'm not going to worry about this error that I'm getting in Outlook. I'll just click OK every time I see it, and I'll deal with it. And then eventually, when it becomes such a headache, I'll report it. Well, it's still impacting my productivity for that entire time before I actually report it. I've talked to people that haven't, didn't know how to reset their password in their voicemail, and they waited, 3, 6, 9 months to resolve it because they could work around it and figure out something or get those emails with the voicemail messages. But it's because if you had a great experience interacting with IT or that service team, then you probably would be more willing to pick up the phone or send them an email or go to that self-service portal. So time to report, I think, is a very important metric that's very hard to measure, but it's something that you have to think about when you're thinking about customer satisfaction. And when I say that for customer satisfaction, IT and the support team are going to get penalized in that customer satisfaction survey, even if the customer dealt with the problem for 3 months. When they pick up the phone and want help, they're already frustrated. So you're going to be penalized for that because they didn't pick up the phone, 3 months ago. So again, there's time to report, time to troubleshoot, so how long it takes for the support team to figure out what's going on, and then the time to communicate the resolution. So all those, the sum is mean time to resolution. So by attacking mean time to resolution is what we really wanted to do. So we looked at mean time to resolution, and we started figuring out, where can we improve things? Where can a mobile app help and improve mean time to resolution? So we looked at reducing the time to report that ticket, so making it easier to report that ticket, both from the analyst perspective, improving the quality of information in the ticket. So I think that's another thing, that if you do have to go back to your desk as an analyst or a support person and then log that ticket, the quality of information, unless you got everything captured perfectly on your phone before you enter the ticket or on paper, you're not going to get all of that great information. Next is the reducing time to update that ticket. So if you can, the more quickly you can get in, update that ticket, get the information out to the end user, the solution to the end user, the faster you can get that issue resolved. Next is improving business productivity. So ultimately, all of these things in mean time to resolution focus on the last two bullets. So it's all about improving business productivity, getting that end user back up and running quickly. Okay. And I will ask, there's a couple lines that are not on mute. If you could mute your line, I appreciate it. Okay. So moving on to the next slide. So if I dig into each one of those points, on the first one, reduce time to report. So we wanted to make sure we provided in this new mobile app, and we focused specifically on analysts because that was really, I think, the biggest value we could provide to our customers. The largest base of users are self-service users, but those users are coming in and leaving the app fairly quickly. They may be using the interface, contacting support once a month, a few times a year. But analysts are especially level 1 analysts are living in the tool, are doing service management, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, if not longer than that. So we first focused on getting a lot of feedback from our existing customers, doing usability testing. Before we wrote a single line of code, we did a lot of mock-ups and walked through scenarios with customers, user research, usability testing, and understanding how they would use the app and the functions that they wanted to be able to do from the mobile interface. And one theme came out, again, on reduced time to report was field technicians. We have many organizations that are a campus or have retail customers or other offices where a technician is going directly to that office, and they need to be able to update a ticket immediately. And so when you can get those updates into the ticket, you're tracking all that information, especially if that analyst, field technician is resolving that issue, you're getting much more accurate information into the ticket and ultimately resolving that ticket faster. Next, improving the quality of information. So I think a simple but very powerful feature is using the camera and images. When you can walk up to a printer, a broken device, or even just take an image of an error on a screen, you're getting a lot more information into that ticket and allowing the analyst or the technician working on the ticket with that additional detail is a huge improvement when it comes to troubleshooting. So you can reduce the time to troubleshoot by having better quality information in the ticket. So attaching images, capturing information directly at the point of where the issue is occurring. Talking to organizations, going into a data center and taking a picture of a switch that's having an issue or some network hardware. Having that information in the ticket is much more valuable than someone having to type it up and being able to figure those things out there. And next is reduce time to update. So I think all of this is the fact that I have the mobile device in my pocket, I'm on the go, I'm at the point of service, and I can then update those incidents, those issues very quickly on my phone. Also, the mobile app, and I'll go walk through a demo in just a minute, has all the different workflow actions that you'd see on the web interface. So that it's all permission-based, it's all state-driven. So when that technician, again, is on site and they pull open that ticket on the mobile app, they're getting the actions focused on their permissions, their role, all the details in that ticket, and can immediately move it closer to resolution. So I think that's one of the most important features. You'll also see when I give the demo these quick tap actions. So on the list of tickets here, I have the ability to quickly add an update to a ticket, to attach an image or take a picture, as well as send a notification to the user. So those are quick actions that I can take with a single tap, instead of having to drill into the ticket, go through the different details of the ticket and then take an action. I can do those directly from the list. Okay. So before I go into the demo, I'm going to put up one quick poll just to get a sense of how people are using mobile apps and in their environment for IT service management today. So I've launched a quick poll that'll stay up for a minute or two. as people are answering that. Lots of responses coming in. So the poll closes in a few seconds. Looks like it's so far the majority of people, over 60% of people are not using mobile devices today from a service management perspective, and just under 40% are. So that's some good information. Before I jump into the demo, I'm going to be giving a demo from my live iPhone. So I've done everything I can to prevent, my wife calling me or my kids texting me. But be aware that there may be some disruption there. So hold on 1 second. I will connect. Okay. So, hold on 1 second. There we go. So you should be seeing my mobile device now, and I will open up the ServiceAide Cloud Service Management mobile app. So the use cases I'm going to take here is that I'm an analyst, I'm a field technician, I'm working on my queue of incidents and tickets and requests and changes, all of that, and then I'm going to open up a new ticket and work on that ticket and try to progress it as well. So what you're seeing is my live devices connect to a live system. So everything you see here is going to be live information. So at this home screen is essentially my ticket center. This is my queue of tickets based on my permissions, my group membership, my role in the system. I can filter that list. I have a set of default filters, so I can look if I'm most concerned with, let's look at tickets that have already breached their SLA. I can quickly sort and scan through those. So if I want to just focus on these really, high priority type issues. I also can look at, if you see my own filters on the bottom left there, these are filters that I've created through the web interface, and all of those come automatically over to the mobile app as well. So if I want to see, just unassigned tickets, so if these are tickets that are assigned to my groups and currently don't have an owner, don't have someone assigned to it, I could go through and take some ownership of those tickets as well. Okay. So, you can see also on the screen, there are the different quick tap actions. So if I wanted to, I could click this. I click the email icon. Of course, you can't see where I'm clicking on my thumbprint here, but if I click that email icon, I immediately have the ability to send a notification out. This could be a simple notification to the customer saying, "Hey, I'm looking for an update. We made some progress on this issue and need you to verify." I could be forwarding this communication to a manager on the team, and I can send some different templates, which are basically then predefine a lot of the content and the details that go in there. So the other quick tap actions I have are the ability to attach an image. So we'll see how this works. If I take an image of my printer here and attach that to the ticket, I can immediately upload those images, which you imagine could be very helpful in a lot of different scenarios, whether it's an error on someone's machine that you want to take a picture of, if it's you want to take a picture of the back of a network switch and all the different cabling, so someone in a different office could take a look and dive into those details. And so that was so easy and so fast to be able to do that, and I can also go into my gallery as well. And the last one is actually the first item. I do have the ability to add a work log. So work logs are, just I can log my progress and work on this ticket. So I could work through and just put in a simple update. It could be a client-facing note, which is visible by the client, or something more internal as well. Okay. I also do have the ability to search, and I also have the ability to create a new incident at the top right here. So I'm going to go in, create a new incident. I'm going to find someone to open this for. We'll take Nick Clark, and we're going to say, since I just took a picture of my printer, and I can also, for ease of use, and since you don't want to watch me type, I'll use the voice here, broken Epson printer. So I can use the voice-to-text features on iPhones and the majority of modern Android devices to be able to do voice-to-text, and making it a lot faster to enter tickets and communicate. Unable to print. I'll just keep it very simple here. Whoops. And then when I click done, I can go ahead and I'll just go ahead and save this issue to get started. And then you can see all the other attributes that will be available for the ticket as well. Okay, so I get the ticket was saved successfully message. So I have all of the different sections and attributes of the ticket here. The arrows in each section I have the ability to expand or maximize. With this, the name section at the top, I can open and close that depending on how much information I have. Just makes it a little bit easier to move through the ticket faster. And now at this point, so I've created this ticket. I just created a general incident. My workflow actions on the right are going to be completely based on the state of the ticket, who I am in the system, my permissions, my workflow rules. So you'll see different workflow actions based on that. Also can view the whole activity history, so you see the history of the ticket. Notifications have already been automatically sent out based on our workflow and processing that we have in the system. So that's all there. And you'll also may notice the color coding of tickets. So one of the things we got during the research process was a lot of feedback on how to visually alert users based on that, based on the state of the ticket, and really, most importantly, the service level. So if that SLA is approaching a breach, or if it is breached, to do different color coding based on that. We went through lots of iterations with customers, and what you'll notice is essentially almost the theme of the ticket changes based on the SLA state. It's just a really easy way where we don't need to, have people memorize icons, but the coloring of each of the tickets will change based on the SLA. So you may be looking at this ticket in this list and it's green right now, and in a half hour from now, it may be red. We also did a lot of testing on how to visually make the different ticket types stand out. We tried lots of different things, but what really became the most simple is if you see the icons on the left-hand side in front of the description of each ticket, you can see have incident request, so an I for incident, R for request, C for change, P for problem. So really, sometimes in design we try to overcomplicate things, but when we did research with customers, it really came down to that simple letter for the ticket type was much easier from a recognition perspective. Okay, so I'd walk through most of the basics. Obviously, as you're working on tickets, there's a lot more fields, a lot more attributes in the list of tickets, and a lot of detail that you can see here. I'll just walk through and show a couple more of my filters so you can see the different color coding. And you can see also I can expand and see a little bit more info before I jump into that actual incident. Go in there, there's some detail there. Okay, so I'll jump back into the presentation. The goal is to keep this short and sweet. Okay. All right. So the app that I'm showing today is the production app that's in the app stores. I downloaded it earlier this week. So it's available at the App Store from Apple for iOS devices. It does work on iPhones as well as iPads. The iPad interface essentially is responsive in that it'll take that extra screen real estate. You'll see a lot more characters on descriptions. You'll see a lot more information in each of those fields based on that responsive design. Also available on Google Play for Android devices. And same responsive UI for Android tablets as well as Android devices there. So I do encourage you to take a look. One of the things that's important to note is that it does require that you have a cloud service management environment. So if you're using a trial environment, a production environment, a staging environment, all of those will allow you to connect to the system. To be able to access the system. So one other thing about the mobile app that I just showed as well is that there are two options for authentication. We are using regular username password, or for other organizations that are using single sign-on, or just to simplify the login process in general, we have what's called a magic link. So a magic link is sort of a new way to handle authentication on mobile apps. You log in you put in your username and your email address, and instead of entering the password in the app, it's sending you an email and essentially establishing a link between the mobile app and your device. And so if you are using single sign-on like Active Directory or some SAML provider, you still have a very simple, very clean login and authentication process. It's much easier than managing all the different authentication providers that are out there. So that's another important feature that we built in to try to make it very simple from the beginning to log in and authenticate. A couple more things about the mobile app before I talk through these, learn more about ServiceAide. The mobile app, this is the first version of this analyst-focused mobile app. We will be releasing new releases at least once a month. We really feel like the pace that we can move with the mobile app is much faster than the traditional server-based app, because we're just connecting on the back end and doing all of these through service calls. So we can move a lot faster. We feel like we're going to do a lot of things that are specific to mobile for this app that aren't in the regular web interface. Okay. So a couple things before I take questions. So I do encourage you to register for a trial or a demonstration if you aren't using ServiceAide and Cloud Service Management today. I did write a blog that is a lot of the content and information is similar to what we talked about today. So I encourage you to read the latest mobile blog. It talks a lot about customer service and the need for mobile and sort of faster mean time to resolution. We'll also be at the HCI National Conference in May. It's in Washington, D.C. So if you are going to be at HCI, please do come and see us. It's always good to catch up with folks in person. Okay. So now I will break for questions. So I'll publish a poll here, and then we'll be taking questions while that poll is going up. So Ron, did we get any questions that came in? I haven't looked yet.
Yes, Rich, we do have a couple of questions. I'll tee them up in just a moment once you close the poll.
Okay. So we have the poll up. Okay. Okay, great. Majority of folks have responded now. I'm pleased to say that it's 100% of people are in the like it or love it area, which is good. No meh, so that's good. And it's about 60-40 between like it and love it there. Okay, we'll go ahead and close that. It looks like majority of folks have now responded to that.
Great, thanks, Rich, and thanks for everybody who not only voted in the poll. Appreciate your positive feedback and affirmation that the team has done a great job with this mobile app. We've got a few questions here, so let me tee them up onto you, Rich. First question is, you had mentioned a couple times you recently wrote a blog with some additional information. Where can we find that blog?
Sure. Yeah. So ServiceAide.com. You'll see there's a link to the blog in the far right top of the navigation. So you can check that out on ServiceAide.com. We usually do post all the blogs as well to our Twitter. I should have it here. Where should I show it here? To Twitter. Yep. So which is at ServiceAide ITSM. Of course, ServiceAide has an E on the end of it, so don't forget that. But yeah, it's definitely there. So check it out at ServiceAide.com.
Great. Thanks for that information, Rich. Next question from our audience. You mentioned the search feature on the mobile app. it appears it searches for only the tickets in the ticket center. Getting to the person's question, can I also search for a ticket that is not assigned to my group? As an analyst, I can do that, for example, in the web browser.
Very good question. So right now, the way the search works is it is based on your permissions and your permissions and your role in the system, so you're only going to see things that you would normally see in Ticket Center in the web interface. So a more general search for tickets right now is not available. That is something that we will be adding. So we do use Elasticsearch as our search engine. That will be something that's added in down the road in the web in the mobile app. Another thing I will add, and I said this very briefly, but really our vision for the mobile app from an analyst perspective is, the goal we've given our team of engineers and the requirements we're building out are to put the web interface out of business. Now, and that's the catchy tagline to motivate the team, but we really want it to be a new interface where our goal is not to just duplicate everything we have in the exact same way we have it in the web interface. You'll see mobile-specific features that are only available in mobile. Obviously there's technology like gestures and GPS and a camera that where you're not going to have on every single workstation you're at. So those are things we're going to take advantage of and be able to do some unique things with that. That makes the experience for an analyst even better than what we have on the web interface. So good question.
Next question, Rich. This should be a quick answer. You nicely demonstrated how to take a photo and attach that photo, and you gave some use cases around that. Is it also possible to include and attach a video to a ticket?
Yes. Yes, you can attach videos. Yes, you can do that is the short answer.
Great. Next question. Where can I get more information on how to set up the magic link? We use SSO and need an easy way to log into this app.
Yes, good point. So the magic link is actually really simple. So the way the magic link works is when you go to that login page, and unfortunately, I wanted to be logged in, so I didn't show the magic link because I wanted to be logged in and just make that cleaner in the demo. But when you download the app, you'll first see a tour. At the end of the tour, you'll see a prompt for logging in or clicking on magic link. And when you click on magic link, you'll essentially see the ability to select which system that you want to log into, whether that's, we have multiple data centers, so you have to essentially select your data center, and then you put in the email address that's associated with your username. Once you do that, you should get an email in a few seconds. There's a link in that email that you get. You click on that link, and now you're logged in. It's very, very simple, and many other sort of new modern apps are using that approach. Slack is one that uses it, and there's many others as well. But it's very easy, very simple. Certainly, if you're having problems with that, we do have some documentation on our wiki as well, and certainly our support team can always help out if there's questions.
Great, thanks for that, Rich. We also had another question on getting the mobile application to work with single sign-on, but I believe you've addressed that as well. So there is clear interest on the single sign-on capability. Maybe we can write a blog about that in the near term.
Sure.
The next question in the queue, which is, how do you filter out resolved/closed or pending tickets from the view?
Yeah, so closed tickets aren't shown. So it's similar to the way Ticket Center works, is that things that are closed are not, a critical priority to the analyst working on that. So you're not going to see closed. You will see resolved, but you can create filters to filter out those resolved tickets. So right now, the way to create filters is in the web interface. Down the road, we will be adding that same capability to the mobile app. Make that experience in the mobile app. But right now, any filters that you create in the web interface, so if you say you create a ticket that says show me all non-resolved tickets, then you'll see that same filter. Well, you can see the screenshot here. Your filters, you'll see that, and your filters on the bottom left of that first screenshot.
Thanks, Rich. And there's another question on this topic as well. That question is, can you use the mobile app to look up historical tickets, related tickets, CMDB entrants, service relationships, and so forth?
Okay, well, that's a big one. So related tickets, yes, you can see those. CMDB relationships, I'm not sure. I'd have to double check on that one. I'm not sure on that. The intent is to be able to access all of those attributes. There's some sections of a ticket that are still being developed right now. Some of the more detailed, I would say lesser used sections are being built in and probably be in the app in the next couple of weeks. But the intent is to be able to see all that information in a ticket, related tickets, even if those related tickets are closed. You should be able to see all that information. So the majority of that is a yes today, and there may be sections like the CMDB section that may not be completely in there yet.
Okay, we've got one last question in the queue, and that's from somebody who's considering but not yet a customer utilizing cloud service management, and they just want to double check you said something earlier, and that is, can we use the mobile apps with the free trial?
Yeah. Yes, you can, and that's a good question. I don't know if I made that clear, but so this mobile app is focused on analysts. It does require the user logging in to have an analyst license associated with them. So analyst license is a named or concurrent license. As a trial user, you have access to those licenses. We do also have a self-service user mobile app as well. That self-service users can go to a catalog, can open up tickets, can manage tickets, do approvals, all those things from a self-service user perspective. That's also available to trial users. So the short answer is yes. To the mobile app, you can use it as part of the trial.
And a follow-up question on that just rolled in. They wanted to know the pricing, and I think I can take that one readily, easily. The mobile app does not have any price associated with it. It's free to download and use. Is that correct?
Correct.
One last question rolled in. Here it goes. When logging into the app, I see the option to enter a custom URL to connect to. What is this option used for?
Good question. Yeah, so we tried to make that login experience fairly easy. So we have a drop-down that defaults all of the different, systems that we provide, sort of the production and the staging, which is the test environment that we provide. We do know that for our own testing, you want to be able to connect to custom URLs. We have internal systems, we have support systems, we have other systems that aren't often exposed to customers, and some customers are on a different data center, so it allows for all those different custom scenarios. So the standard ones, which the majority of our customers are on CSM 1, 2, and 3, you'll see that in drop-down, are available, and that should make it very simple for that first login. But if you are on some different system, or you're a ServiceAide employee and trying to do testing, then you have that custom option.
Rich, we've got a very engaged audience here, and another question just rolled in. That question is, what languages and localization are supported by not only, I guess, the Analyst Mobile App, but the end-user mobile app as well?
Great question. Yeah, so the new Analyst Mobile App that I showed today is English only right now. We will be adding very soon support for Chinese, Brazilian, Portuguese, and Spanish. So that should come in the next probably 6 to 8 weeks. The self-service mobile app is available in all the languages we support, which there are 11. I won't try to name them all off the top of my head, but Chinese, Portuguese, Spanish are where our primary customers are, and we support those languages as well as French, Italian, Finnish, many others.
Rich, we have no more questions in the queue. If you'd like to offer some closing remarks, that would be great. And once you complete those closing remarks, we will close the webinar. And as we mentioned at the outset, it will be recorded. So if you missed something and either want to review or share it with your friends, we'll let you know when the webinar recording is available.
Okay, yep, thanks. Well, thank you everyone for sticking around and asking so many questions. It's always great to know the audience is interested and engaged, and it was a good topic. I know our existing customers are very excited about this mobile app. It's something they've been asking for and pushing for, and it's good that with ServiceAide we were able to increase investment and make some nice changes for our customers. And I'm very excited about the roadmap for the mobile app. We're working on some really cool stuff with gestures and approvals and a lot of other functionality coming out very soon. So again, feel free to go to ServiceAide.com. We'd love to get your feedback on this presentation. Reach out to us, sign up for a trial or a demonstration, and hopefully see many of you at the HCI conference in May. So thanks everyone. We appreciate your time.